Kids all around Arizona heading back to school. We know that, and that means early mornings, homework time. That can put a little bit of pressure on the kiddos. So Tess is finding out how we can help them deal with all that stress. Tess, good morning.
Hi, Scotty. You know, as adults, we know what it feels like to be stressed, right? For kids and teens, though, it's not just the stress of schoolwork, but they're also dealing with the emotional strain of just being a kid. And as parents, it's our natural instinct, of course, to protect them. So this morning, we're getting some help from Shane Watson with Not My Kid. Shane, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for letting me be here.
Such an important topic right now, especially as kids head back to school and things still are not normal. Where do we even begin? Because it's a big topic to cover.
You know, the way that we begin is just by starting the conversation, period, by acknowledging that our kids' stress is real to them. You know, we as adults may look through the lens of adulthood at the stress that our kids have and think to ourselves, that's not a big deal. We have the benefit of adult experience. We have the benefit of adult brain development. We need to really put ourselves in the shoes of who we were at our child's age and remember, what was it like that mom and dad wanted us to get straight A's? There's a person we had a crush on. We're trying to fit in. We don't have the self-identity we have now. And then on top of that, they have social media, which a lot of us didn't have going through middle school, high school, and the COVID pandemic and all of the uncertainty that comes with that.
It is so different, certainly, from when we grew up as kids. A lot more stressors, it feels like. So you open up that conversation. When you have this conversation, what are some of the topics we should be hitting on with them?
Just explaining that this school year may look very different from anyone before it. Last year's looked different. So we may want to reach back to 2-3 school years ago and say, we can't expect this to be like what you're typically used to. You might go back for a while. You might return to distance learning or hybrid learning because it's a big question mark right now. So one of the biggest things is to acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of things outside of our control, both as parents and for our kids, and to shift our focus on what things we can control because we can drive ourselves crazy focusing on the things that are outside of our control.
Things that we can control. One of them, as for parents too, is lessening some of those expectations, right? Being more realistic.
It is great that we want our kids to be high achievers. It's fantastic that we want them to take challenging academic classes or extracurriculars to play sports. That's fantastic. But we need to know how much is too much. We need to recognize where we're overloading them. And we need to leave them some downtime to be kids because that downtime, that reset time actually provides them that recharge to be better when they are in school or when they are doing those extracurricular activities. Let's take a little bit of that load off of our kids and give them some time just to be kids.
It sort of reminds me of going back to maybe where we were at the end of last school year, right? When we had that extra time and everyone wasn't complaining that we are having that family time. Kids are getting to be themselves. As we move towards the school year, we don't know what's going to be happening, right? Masks alone are a big conversation of that's controversial. What's your most important advice? Because parents, we see the whole, but we don't know how to always step back.
You know, the best thing you can do is set the standard with your kids. If you are ever struggling, if you are ever hurting, if you're stressed, you can come to me at any time and I'm going to listen with empathy and with respect. If we set that standard, they know that they can come to us. But we need to recognize we may be the one that needs to start the conversation. Sometimes our kids still don't want to come to us. So how do we know when to start that conversation? Number one, just do it proactively. Number two, look out for those signs and symptoms where your preteen or your teen isn't quite themselves. Recognize that. And as parents, we know that. We have an instinct for that. Yeah. And then we begin that conversation and explain, listen, my number one job is to keep you thriving and healthy and safe. I can tell you're not yourself. I want to help. Let's find out what's going on so I can get you the help that you need.
Shane, such great advice, and Not My Kid has so many great resources. We'll put all the information on azfamily.com as well. Shane, appreciate your perspective and your time and your expertise in this.
Thank you.